Welcome to Publisher Spotlight's TLA Webcast, where we get to walk around the booth virtually and show you some of our very favorite books, because that is our favorite thing to do in the conference. So first up, I want to show you Under My Tree from Blue Dot Press. This is a new publisher that is devoted to sustainability and environmental issues, and this is a lovely narrative about the relationship that one child has with her favorite tree, and then also some great tips on what to look at trees and some tree facts. So there was once a tree different from all the rest. It may seem that all trees are alike, tall enough to touch the clouds, strong and sturdy with large trunks, and dressed in green leaves. That's how most trees are, but the one I want to tell you about is different. I want to tell you about my tree. And down here you see little factoids, like did you know there are over 60,000 tree species in the world? This is called biodiversity. And some other things they have along here are also, try this. So in this case, smell the leaves, flowers, and fruits you find growing on trees. Always show them to an adult before you touch them. Rub them gently with your hands to release their scents. So lots of different things you can do when you're stuck inside. So that is Under My Tree from Blue Dot. Next up, I want to show you a beautiful book from Tilbury House, who also has their way around nature books. But in this case, this is the story of Rafael Guastavino, who came over from Spain and did not speak a word of the language, but he had some great ideas. He was an architect that he wanted to see if he could put them into practice in this brave new world. You can see the great timeline, maps, all those wonderful things. He came up with this way of interlocking tiles that can be used to create spaces that are gorgeous and expansive, but can also support lots and lots of weight. Over 40,000 Rafael Guastavino creations are across the country. Check them out for you. Now we're going to take a quick break and come back again with some more books. So next up, I'm delighted to show you A Wave of Stars, or in Spanish, La Ola de Estrellas, which is a wonderful modern-day fairy tale about two animals who hear a story that if they see a moonbow, then they are going to be turned into people. Is this true? We'll find out. A wise old octopus tells them this story. And of course, one day, what do? They see the moonbow, and when they do that, they suddenly turn into children. They're rescued by a kindly fisherman who tells them that the only way they can turn back into their original forms is to dive into a wave of stars, which they do, and then they've gone back to their original forms, but they still have a new friend. So that is the story of A Wave of Stars. And Nube Ocho has a lot of books both in English and Spanish. So if you're looking for books in both languages, check them out for sure. Hamlet. Kids are going to have to read Hamlet at some point. They get to read Hamlet. And this is a wonderful version because it's in manga format. So in the beginning, we see how you're supposed to read in a manga format. So manga lovers will know this, but not necessarily everybody else. The amazing thing is every single word of the actual text in the play is in here. So if you want to go to something that is, teenage angst, let's think about that. How about when Hamlet rejects Ophelia because, they were in love and they were going to get married, and he is clearly gone crazy. So this is the story when she confronts him about that, and he says, oh, look who's here, basically. The fair Ophelia, nymph in thy orisons be all my sins remembered. And over here, she says, my lord, I have remembrances of yours that I have longed to redeliver. I pray you, now please receive them. So you see her giving up her heart, all the things she saved that he gave her. Tell me that's not in almost every teen YA love romance book. So this is a way for them to relate to it and also to really dive into the bard. So I hope you'll check out Hamlet, and they have a lot of other books as well from Manga Classics. So last up, I want to show you Flush. So this is a book that has special relevance right now. This is 37 household chores that everybody should do. And these are research-backed, so they're just not any chores. That's how they got the number 37. So in the beginning, there is a contract that if you have this for home use, that you may have everybody sign. And then it goes through all 37 rules and why they're important. Number 21 is one I thought I'd like to highlight. Wash your hands. We all need to do that. So you're going to be spending a lot of time together. You might as well start looking at these 37 different rules and why they're important. This is from Mrs. Wordsmith. They also have a really great storyteller's dictionary. So these are just a few books. Now I'm going to let the rest of the team tell you about some others that are coming your way, and I hope you'll check them out. Thanks so much for visiting Publisher Spotlight. So welcome again to Publisher Spotlight and our TLA Spotlight. Since we couldn't show you around our booth, this is what we're doing instead. And this is Stacey Ashby, who is my right hand, my left brain, everything else. She keeps everything running here at Publisher Spotlight. And here are some of her favorite titles that were going to be at TLA, and we're happy to share with you now. There's that Jutta Pang, I don't know how to pronounce it, but who knows? From Flower Pot, right?
Yes, it's from Flower Pot. It's called The Forest Man, and it's about this 14-year-old boy who took it upon himself to create and cultivate the Malay forest in India. And it was 1,400 acres, and he grew the trees from little seedlings, and not only did it become a forest, but it also brought back a lot of the endangered animals. So, I mean, and it's beautifully illustrated.
Oh, those are gorgeous.
And one of the best things about the book is that it is in partnership with Trees for the Future. So every book bought is a tree planted.
Oh, that's a good. You can feel good about this book in so many different ways. So, and that's from Flower Pot Press that is based in Canada and here in Nashville, Franklin. Yeah.
And we have another Flower Pot Press book. And this book, if you need some humor, especially in the times that we are in now, this is great for younger audiences. It's called Are You Amused? This book uses animal puns in the story.
I get it. Amused. Emu. Oh, that's good.
One of my favorite is like, this book is eely funny. Eely funny.
I get it.
So, but it makes lots of little giggles for the young ones.
Be a good writing prompt, too.
Yes, it would. It's great. And then on a more serious note is My Favorite Memories. This is from Blue Dot Press, and this book won the Bologna Ragazzi Award, as well as it's a starred review in Booklist. And it's about a young girl who is moving across continents and how she wants to take her favorite things, but all of her favorite things are things you can't pack in a suitcase. So it's how she comes about dealing with that. So it's very a lovely, gentle story, and it's just so a good right now story.
And the illustrations are what won the Ragazzi Prize.
So
And Blue
pretty.
Dot is dedicated to sustainability, so you know that this book was created with sustainable, environmentally conscious tree paper and ink. So, and I think you've got one more to show us too, don't you?
Yes.
Because
And
this is TLA, so you got to talk
you
about
gotta have it. Texas Chronicles, the history of Texas. This is from What on Earth Books, and it has two elements to this book. You have a photoed out 6-foot timeline.
That's right.
It goes backwards.
I know you got it.
There we go. So it's over 100 points in history on the front and back, and a great way to keep kids interested in what's going on. And then they have also newspaper articles. It's about 40 articles of interesting points that they're written just like it just happened. So this is a great way to kind of dive in to some of the historical points and get a little bit more meat out of it.
And Sasha likes it too.
Yes.
So thank you, and that we have some more books for you to see, so stay tuned. And here we are back, and this time we're here with Publisher Spotlight's own Carrie Oliva. And Carrie is our logistics coordinator, so she's the one who makes sure all of our shipments get out, those big skids for the conferences get packed. If you've ever gotten a book from us, it was Carrie probably who made sure that got to you. So we're really grateful to Carrie. And you've got a book to share with us today.
I do. It's called Imagine That by Tiger Tales, and it's written by Tom Burleson. And one really cool fact about Tom is that when he was 7 years old is when he wrote this book.
What?
Pretty amazing, huh?
Published author at 7. That's amazing.
It is amazing.
Inspiring.
And this book is all about Elliot and Ruby. When Elliot meets Ruby, he's not too sure about her. She's got a really big imagination, and the things that Elliot sees as being normal and everyday, Ruby can imagine it in a huge and adventurous way. So it might even be things like an elephant who can sneeze a treasure map all the way across the ocean. And we see how Ruby is able to inspire Elliot's imagination in this book.
That's really super fun. And this is from Tiger Tales, who does a lot of great fiction, also nonfiction, the 360 Degrees book, so lots to offer from Tiger Tales. You've got another book here.
I do. This is from Toon Books. This is called Comics as Easy as ABC, The Essential Guide to Comics for Kids. And this is by Ivan Bernetti, and it's edited by Françoise Mouly.
Françoise Mouly, yes.
Really
yes.
Big person in comics, so
Oh, yeah.
it's really cool. But this book is for any budding cartoonist. It gives a lot of really incredible tips and ideas on how to make your comics spectacular. Things that you wouldn't normally have thought of necessarily in the past. And things like emotions, how to draw emotions for your characters and different profiles or points of view. But these are ideas from experts, so you get a really good rounded scoop on things.
So the other book can inspire the imagination, and this one teaches you how to get it down on paper.
Might keep your child busy at home, too. That'd be really cool.
That is the other thing that's happening right now. Thank you so much, Carrie, and thanks. And we have some more books to share with you.
Hi, I'm Sarah from Publisher Spotlight, and I'm here to talk about a few of the titles that we are going to have at the Texas Library Association Conference. Let's start off with Amelia Earhart. This is from Portable Press's Show Me History graphic novel series. It also includes some wonderful back matter, including other famous flying women, Amelia Earhart's timeline, a glossary, as well as some resources to find out more information. This wonderful graphic novel includes Amelia Earhart's entire story from early childhood to last flight. Next, let's talk about Peppa's Night Parade from Two Lions, written by Lisa Robinson. This book, beautifully illustrated by Lucy Fleming, is all about Pippa. Pippa's imagination sometimes gets the best of her, meaning that she sometimes sees villains and monsters and beasts everywhere. When that happens, she doesn't know what to do, but eventually she decides that she might need to make a plan. And after this plan and a little bit of trial and error, Pippa learns that maybe her monsters aren't so scary after all. Then, written by Lindsay Ward, this punny picture book is all about the color gray. That's right, gray is a color. The other colors might not think so, and sometimes they don't let him color. He's not even in the rainbow, so he decides to create his own story. Can Gray show the world that he's still bold and interesting too? Find out in this great book from Two Lions.
Hi everyone, I'm here for the Publisher Spotlight TLA 2020 webcast. Since the conference was unfortunately canceled, we just wanted to take some time and talk to you about some of the books that were going to be in our booth, so this way you still know what you can read during this crazy time of quarantine. So first I'm going to start off with a young adult fantasy novel. This is Before the Broken Star by Emily R. King, the author of the 100th Queen series. And it's a young adult fantasy, like I said, and it's perfect for fans of Cinder or Throne of Glass because the main character, Everly, she has a clockwork heart, and because she has this heart, her family was assassinated, and so she goes on this journey for revenge, and it's a really great novel that has twists and turns and every kind of plot twist you would want, and it's just a perfect fantasy novel for any young adult fantasy lover. And the next book that I'm going to talk about is Wonder Woman Tempest Tossed. This is a new graphic novel that comes out this summer, and it's by Laurie Halse Anderson. And basically this story is about how a young Diana gets lost at sea. She gets away from her home, from the Amazons, and she is basically a refugee, and she's going through our world and like seeing all of this turmoil and all of this stuff that is something that she has no idea with, and she can't believe humans have gotten so far off track, and so she really leans into her own becoming the Wonder Woman we all know and love today. And it's a really, really great graphic novel with great comics and really great writing. And then the last book I've got for you is I Remember Poems and Pictures. And this is a poetry collection from some of your favorite children's authors, and it's about heritage and history, and it's a personal collection of poems. There are some really, really great poems in here, and there are several that are just like, that really just speak to heritage and importance, and this will be a really great book for readers of all ages, especially for those who are interested in writing their own poetry. It is great inspiration for that. So this book is published by Lee and Low. Wonder Woman Tempest Tossed is published by DC, and Before the Broken Star is published by Skyscape, which is an imprint of Amazon. So I hope you can find some really great books from this telecast, and we just want to say to all of the TLA 2020 attendees that we are so sorry that the conference got canceled, but we are still dedicated to getting you all of the books you could ever want.
Hi everybody. Since we didn't get to meet you at this year's Texas Library Association, we are so glad that you are joining us for our online webcast. Now there are 3 books that I wanted to talk with you about today. The first one is A New School for Charlie. So I love this book. It's a very funny and sweet story about a little dog named Charlie. He is so happy. He loves to go to school. He loves to learn new things and meet new people. But when he goes to this new school, he notices that something's different. It is actually a school for cats. So he doesn't quite fit in right away. He struggles to make some friends until he goes to school's library and checks out a book about cats. And from there, he's able to find ways to connect with his classmates, to make new friends, and it's just a funny and sweet story about a little dog named Charlie. So the last book that I want to talk with you guys about today is probably my favorite title for the upcoming season. This is Music for Tigers by Michelle Cutter-Russman, and it is published by Pajama Press. This is a middle grade novel, and it follows Louisa as she goes to Tasmania to visit her uncle for the summer at his nature camp. Now, Louisa's not really into this. She'd rather be at home practicing her violin and getting ready for the symphony, but instead she's in Tasmania. Now, the first thing I did when I started reading this book was look up Tasmania. I have a new goal in life. It's to go to Tasmania. But Louisa really doesn't want to be there, like I said, until she finds her grandmother's journal. And her grandmother was also a musician like her. She played the piano, and she really comes to connect with the world around her through her grandmother's journal. And her grandmother has a pretty incredible story to tell about Tasmanian tigers coming out of the jungle to hear her play. Now, for those of you that don't know, Tasmanian tigers are actually extinct. They don't exist anymore, and they haven't for about 100 or so years. But one day, Louisa, she's playing her violin, and she hears something in the jungle. Could it be a Tasmanian tiger? So, I'm so excited for this title. I can't wait for everyone else to read it. And that's all for today. Thank you so much for joining me, and stay safe out there.